Hey, what's up guys, Radku here, back with another Yu-Gi-Oh video, and today is going to be the budget Metalfoes deck I promised. So, basically, this is some of the cheapest that you can make Metalfoes. The deck is actually really good on a budget. You have some cool tech options you can put in here, like Rescue Hamster, which I'm actually not sure of the price, and even Super Poly, which works amazing in this deck. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. Starting things off, I play 3 copies of Metalfoes Melcaster. I'm just gonna blaze through the Metalfoes cards, just because they're all, 1 cent each. They're all really cheap. You should be able to get them all for under 50 cents each, according to TCG Player, of course. You should be able to get these really cheap, and you should easily be able to, or not accounting for shipping, of course, but still, Melcaster is by far the best Metalfoes card. It has the normal effect, but if it gets destroyed, you can add a Metalfoes from your extra deck to your hand, which is really good. I played 3 copies of Bismugear. I played 2 copies of this in the normal deck, but it's amazing in the budget version. You can basically just, if it gets popped, you can add a Metalfoes from your deck to your hand on the end phase, which is actually pretty good, all things considered. I played 2 copies of a Vanisher. This card is probably the most expensive one, and it's definitely not as good as the rest of them, but it's a decent 2 of, and it's still pretty cheap, floating at about the $1 range, so it's not a bad option to have. I played 3 copies of Volflame, 3 copies of Gold Driver, 3 copies of Silvered, and 3 copies of Steelin, just because they're easy cards to just go into your combos with to pop. Literally, your end board could end up just being an Alcahest, but that's still an amazing end board, and it's super easy to go into in this deck, especially considering that this deck is, right now, the budget version is normal monster centric. I played 3 copies of Rescue Hamster. I still need to check on the price of Rescue Hamster, but still, it's a really good option. But then I played 3 copies of Rescue Rabbit. Now, this card has gotten multiple reprints, and I know it's cheap. So, this card is just insane. It gets you 2 free special summons, plus you can just link them off, link off the monster summoned with it. Usually it's a Gold Driver, to go into your Elgam, and then your Elgam gets destroyed, you get to special summon it back basically for free, and then you clear up 2 free monster zones, which is really good. Then I play 2 copies of Super Poly, just because it's a really good card, because all the extra deck cards, or a good chunk of them, have actually really generic materials. Because, take Crimsonite, for example. It just needs 1 Metalfoes monster plus 2 monsters with 3,000 or less attack. And then same with Adamantite, or Adamanti. It just needs 2,500 or less, which, that's really good. Crimsonite is just insane, though. It's an easy card to go into. Plus, there's the fact that you could just set Super Poly, and then on your opponent's end board, say they have True King of All Calamities, and, I don't know, some random card, their Synchro Monster, the big one, you could just, send them off, and then boom, you go into Crimsonite, their board is decimated. Virtual World can't follow up after that. You could use this to use their Herald. Boom, they can't do anything. Super Poly breaks boards, especially in this deck, because it is insane. And now that I double checked, Rescue Rabbits or Rescue Hamsters only a couple cents, so it's a perfect card for this deck. I played 3 copies of Unexpected Die. Like I said, again, this card has had multiple reprints. Super, super cheap, under $1. It's a great option just because it can special summon them for free from the deck, and it sets up plays to go into your links. I was kind of hoping we could get Electrum back to 1, because it's really only like a $15 card right now. So, like, still, like, it would be a nice option, but we don't have it. But Unexpected Die, amazing, great for setting up link plays, and it can set up stuff with your Metalfoes fusion cards. I played 3 copies of Summoner Art. This card searches your Full Flame, and yeah, it's just really, really good. Great way of trimming down your deck, and it helps with consistency a lot. I played 2 copies of Metalfoes Fusion, 1 copy of Metalfoes Fusion, and 2 copies of Full Metalfoes Fusion. So, the reason I had this ratio, Metalfoes is god tier and really, really cheap. Full Metalfoes, now, see, here's where the problem arises. This is a quick play. I would play 2 Metalfoes Fusion and 1 Full Metalfoes, because Full Metalfoes is not as good. But the problem is, Metalfoes Fusion was played in competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! So it became really, really, really expensive, like at $10 to $5 per copy. So now we can't really play this at more than 1 copy when we're going for the budget build. But still, you can use Full Metalfoes Fusion on your opponent's turn really easily, and you can use Metalfoes Fusion, the 1 copy you have, and abuse it really, really well, because you can use it twice per turn, basically, because then you get a free draw. This card's an amazing plus. And then I play 1 copy of Metalfoes Combination. If you're really going for a budget build, you could cut out the Super Poly and then put in 3 of the Metalfoes Combination. This card's really, really good. It's just great for getting destroyed, and it gets a free search. The only issue is that it's a trap card, and you can't afford Magician's Souls, so you can't just send it to the graveyard for free. But still, if you want a cool tech option you can put in here, max out on this and then put in Twin Twisters. Then you can pop your own cards and get free searches, which is good, but it's kind of an inherent -2, so like there's no real reason to. I play 3 copies of Elgam going into the extra deck. This card's super cheap, and it's just a really, really good option to go into for the extra deck. Plus, it frees up zones really easily to go into. Plus, if you really wanted to splurge on the budget, you could buy an Appaloosa, which is only like $7 at this point, and set up some free negation, because that actually works in this deck. Like going into using Rescue Rabbit and like your Metalfoes scales, you can actually just go into an Appaloosa, which is insane. I played 3 copies of Crimsonite and 3 copies of Adamantite, or Adamante. These cards are just generic Super Poly targets. I maxed out on them just in case we come across a Dogmatica one, but like really these are the best normal ones of the extra deck. I didn't want to play that other one that does like double piercing damage or whatever, because it's just not good compared to the rest of them. I played 2 copies of Mithril, still can't pronounce it. This card's actually just really good. I kind of just maxed out on them just because this was the cheapest route you could go. You can target 2 Metalfoes cards in the graveyard and target 1 card on the field. Shuffle those targets into the deck, and if you do, return this card or return that target to the hand. So some generic spot removal that avoids certain things. It does target, so you can't get rid of Dragoon with it, but it's still fine. Plus, if you come across not a mirror match, but a pendulum mirror match, then you can just use their pendulum monsters with Super Poly, which is really, really good. So this just shows how versatile this deck is, being able to use your opponent's cards for free. And then rounding off the deck, 3 copies of Full Metalfoes Alcahest. I was really surprised how cheap this card is, because this card is busted. Like, I mean, this card's insane. It's really good. Steals your opponent's monsters, basically keeps them from going into combo plays, and is really good. Like, seriously, this card is by far the best card in the entire deck, like, bar none, and I really think this card should be more expensive, but it's only like a couple cents. So, yeah, that is pretty much it for the deck. Please like, subscribe, share, comment, and let me know what you thought, and let me know if there's anything you would change about the deck. Would you cut out the super poly stuff? Would you change up the extra deck, despite the fact that I was sticking more of a pure Metalfoes route? Would you splurge a little bit, buy some more better staples? And yeah, that's pretty much it, and I'll see you in the next Yu-Gi-Oh video. Peace, guys.